Hi there. Welcome to my first tip of 10 quick tips to improve your photography. And the first 4 tips all deal with composition, which is basically your arrangement of shapes and forms and lines in your photograph. So tip 1 is a very common photographic compositional element, which is called rule of thirds. And that's basically taking a tic-tac-toe grid and placing it on your photograph. And where the lines intersect are known as what I like to call sweet spots. If you look at this photograph of the elk walking across the meadow, I put the sweet spots in there, and that's where you want to put the important parts of your photograph, right at those sweet spots. And also when you have like an animal or a person or anything leading into your photograph, you want it to be on the third. If you will look at the elk photograph, the elk has plenty of room to walk into the photograph. He's not walking out of the photograph. Now here's another picture of Mount Moran in the Grand Tetons. And when you look at that photograph, you can see that the horizon line is in the upper third of the photograph. So you always want to keep those horizon lines in the upper third of the photograph or the lower third of the photograph, and never in the middle. And the way you determine that, where do I put my horizon line, you determine that by what's more important to the photograph, the foreground or the background. So if you could look at this photograph of Mount Moran, you could see that foreground is very significant to the photograph with the log and the beach and the water. But in this second picture of Mount Moran, you can see that it's the sky, the upper part, the background of the photograph, that is more important and more significant. So there we have the horizon line at the bottom third of the photograph. Now here's another photograph of a gibbon, and you can see with this, as the animal pretty much fills the frame, unlike the elk, who was just part of the frame, we can see that the head and the face are right about at one of those sweet spots that we talk about. So that's how we use rule of thirds in this photograph. Now, rule of thirds is not something you're going to see in all your photographs. I don't know, maybe 50% of my photographs or less use rule of thirds, but it's pretty significant when you're able to use it, because it's more important to keep a photograph in balanced and balanced out and good composition overall, and just don't think about rule of thirds, because if you're only thinking about that, you could really kind of make some photographs look awkward. So just keep it in mind when a photograph is going to work really well with rule of thirds, like the 4 photographs I've showed you here. So, and also remember, when you are using rule of thirds, I'm going to put that gibbon photograph back up on the screen here, and you can see how the gibbon again is looking into the frame, not looking out of the frame, just like the elk was walking into the frame. So keep that in mind with rule of thirds as well. And if you want to get all my tips in a PDF, visit my website, visualverse.thecreationspeaks.com, visualverse.thecreationspeaks.com, and there you could see a link to download a PDF of my 10 tips. And so yeah, you could do that there and wait. I'm going to put another video up in a week or so about tip number 2. And also, when you're at my website, don't forget to check out my book. It's a devotional book, Drawing Near, Meeting God in His Creation. So check that out as well. And God bless, and draw near.